Hello, I'm Food Daniel. Here are my predictions for the IWFL Week 4 games. These are the games to be played on May 2nd. Here we go. Toledo raid at the Wisconsin Warriors. Well, these are obviously not the same Warriors from last year, getting dropped by Minnesota in Week 2 and last week getting shut out 56-0 by the Madison Blaze. While Toledo, they're coming off of a very exciting close loss to the Detroit Pride 17-13. I gotta say Toledo. I expect Toledo to win this one. Wisconsin's not totally hapless though, so I'll say Toledo by between 2 and 3 touchdowns. Okay, Nebraska Stampede at the Madison Blaze. Well, the Madison Blaze, they're 2-0, close win over Iowa, blowout win over Wisconsin. Nebraska Stampede, they're 1-1 with a semi-close loss to Minnesota and then a 4-touchdown win over Iowa. I think Madison will win this one, and I'll say by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Madison, yes. San Antonio Regulators at the Austin Yellow Jackets. I love that name, San Antonio Regulators. I don't think a professional sports team has ever called itself the Regulators, but I love it. It rolls off the tongue great. Okay. But I think the Yellow Jackets are going to win this one. But it'll be close. I'll say about 2 touchdowns or less. Austin will win. Austin will win this one. Okay, Houston Energy at New Orleans Crew. This game will not be close. Houston will win this one. I am surprised that they only beat the San Antonio Regulators last week by 2 touchdowns, only 14-0. Still, they'll be able to beat the Crew too, and I'll say it'll be by 4 or 5 touchdowns. Yes. Okay, Utah Falcons and Nevada Storm. Some people have asked me if I'm going to this game. I could, but a half hour closer, there's a WFA game in Bakersfield that I think is going to be much more competitive, so I'm going to that one instead. But Utah Falcons and Nevada Storm. I'm thrilled to death the Storm got their first win last week, 33-6 over the California Quake, but they ain't going to beat the Falcons. Falcons will win this one. It'll be gruesome. Gruesome win for the Utah Falcons. Sacramento Sirens at the North County Stars. For those of you outside of California, North County Stars, that's in Carlsbad, California, just north of San Diego. I don't know why it's called North County. Okay, I saw the Sirens last week. They beat the Phoenix Phantoms 41-0, and that's their 3rd straight win where they've scored over 40 points. Sirens aren't going to lose to anybody in the regular season all season long. Not going to lose this one either. Gruesome win by the Sacramento Sirens. Connecticut Wreckers, the Montreal Blitz. Well, Montreal's coming off a very close and exciting loss to the powerful New York Sharks 26-19. While the Connecticut Wreckers, they won in Week 2 against the Maine Rebels 26-0. This should be an easy win for Montreal. I'll say by 4 or 5 touchdowns. Montreal. Maine Rebels, the Philadelphia Firebirds. This will be a gruesome win for the Philadelphia Firebirds. I love the Maine Rebels. They're a low roster team. You know, they don't win very often, but they have a great time of it, and they just keep plugging away. But the Philadelphia Firebirds, they're a good, solid team, and they'll prove it next week. Yep. Gruesome win for Philadelphia. Washington Prodigy at the New York Sharks. Sharks, again, coming off of an exciting win over Montreal, 26-19. While the Washington Prodigy, well, they lost to the Sharks in Week 1, 37-8. So there's no particular reason to think that's going to change. So, yeah, I'll predict the Sharks by 4 or 5 touchdowns. New York Sharks. Pittsburgh Passion at the Baltimore Nighthawks. Baltimore Nighthawks are a reasonably good team. They are 1-1, but nobody's going to beat Pittsburgh in the regular season. Gruesome win by Pittsburgh. Okay, a fun little backyard brawl here. The Carolina Queens at the Carolina Phoenix. I don't know if they play in the same city. I don't know if they play in the same state, because neither of them want to identify themselves as North or South Carolina. They just say Carolina. Okay, fair enough. Carolina Queens are 2-0. Carolina Phoenix are 2-1. This will be very fun. I don't know much about either team, so I can only go on history, and you know the history favors Carolina Phoenix, so yeah, I'll predict the Phoenix, but not by much. I'll say by 2 to 3 touchdowns. And finally, Huntsville Tigers, the Tennessee Train. Hard to say. The only thing I can go on is common opponent. The only common opponent they've had is the Knoxville Lightning. Tennessee beat the Knoxville Lightning 35-12, while the Huntsville Tigers beat the Knoxville Lightning 55-8. So if I go by that, I should feel Huntsville should win. Okay, and there's also home field advantage to take into account, but I don't think the distance from Huntsville to wherever the Tennessee train play is great enough that it would cause that many Huntsville players to stay home. I'm going to go with Huntsville on this one, but by a touchdown or less. Yes, indeed. I mean, it's not the most informed prediction in the world, but yeah, I'll say Huntsville by a touchdown or less. That completes my predictions for the IWFL games for May 2nd. Thank you.